Welcome to Whispering Cabins, where the woods are quiet, the stories are eerie, and the night whispers just for you. Settle in and listen closely. Tonight, we tell the story of the last summer at Camp Maplewood. The first morning at Camp Maplewood always smelled the same: pine sap, sunscreen, and pancakes. The air was thick with humidity, and the lake, visible through the trees, shimmered like polished glass. For as long as anyone could remember, Camp Maplewood had been the perfect little escape. A place for kids to canoe, make friendship bracelets, and learn ghost stories under the stars. The cabins creaked, the counselors wore matching shirts, and the laughter of children echoed through the pines from sunrise to lights out. But that summer felt different. Cassie Reynolds, 24, and in her third year as a counselor, noticed it as soon as she stepped off the camp bus. The place seemed quieter. Maybe it was just the fog still lifting off the lake, or the fact that fewer campers had signed up this year. But something about the silence made her stomach twist. "Feels weirdly empty, doesn't it?" her friend Jonah said, tossing a duffel over his shoulder. He was the arts and crafts counselor, always grinning, always paint-stained. Cassie nodded. "Like the woods are listening." They laughed it off, but that feeling stayed with her. That night, the campfire crackled to life, casting golden light across a semicircle of sleepy, excited faces. Cassie watched as Jonah began his traditional first night story, a spooky local legend about a camper who'd gotten lost in the woods and was said to still wander, looking for his cabin. Halfway through, the fire hissed and flared blue. A breeze swept through, cold and sudden. The campers squealed. "See?" Jonah said, smiling. "He's listening." Laughter followed, but Cassie couldn't shake the chill crawling up her spine. She could have sworn she saw a figure, just a dark shape, standing among the trees beyond the firelight, watching. When she looked again, it was gone. The first camper went missing 2 days later. Her name was Lily, a quiet girl from Cabin 7 who loved to draw pictures of the lake. Her sketchbook was found by the dock, open to a half-finished picture of a boy standing in the water, his reflection rippling away. The camp director, Mr. Everett, called for calm. "She probably wandered off and got turned around," he said, though his face was pale. They searched until sunset, shouting her name into the trees. No one found her. That night, Cassie couldn't sleep. Every gust of wind made the cabin groan, and the moonlight through the window painted ghostly lines across the bunks. Around 2 a.m., she heard it, a faint humming, a child's voice. It came from the woods. By the third day, everyone was on edge. The counselors did their best to keep the campers busy, canoeing, hiking, arts and crafts, but whispers spread faster than wildfire. Jonah tried to stay upbeat. "It's just a mix-up. They'll find her soon." But when another camper, Ben, vanished that night, his bed neatly made, his flashlight still on, there was no pretending anymore. Cassie sat by the lake with Jonah the next morning, staring at the still water. They both disappeared near the dock, she said. "What if—" Jonah frowned. "Don't say it's the ghost story. That's just campfire stuff." "Then what's in those woods?" He didn't answer. That evening, Cassie led her cabin in a group activity to keep spirits up, making wish boats. Each camper lit a small candle, set it in a paper cup, and placed it on the lake. A Maplewood tradition. As the tiny flames drifted out over the dark water, Cassie felt a lump in her throat. She whispered a silent wish. Please, let everyone make it home. Then, across the lake, she saw it again. A figure, standing in the shallows, still and silent, watching. She blinked, and it was gone. By the fourth day, parents were calling non-stop. Mr. Everett said the authorities were involved, but no one had seen any police. Camp went on as usual, as if pretending hard enough could keep the truth away. That afternoon, during free swim, one of the younger kids screamed. Cassie ran to the dock. Floating near the reeds was Lily's sketchbook, dry as if it had never touched water. She opened it with trembling hands. The newest page showed the lake again. This time, the drawing was of a line of children, hand in hand, walking into the water. At the end of the line was someone new, someone who looked like Cassie. That night, the fog rolled in thick and low, muffling the world. The moon was only a pale blur. Cassie and Jonah met outside cabin 3 with flashlights and determination. We have to find out what's happening, Cassie said. They followed the trail down to the lake, the air heavy with the smell of wet pine. Lily, Cassie called. Ben. The only reply was the sound of lapping water. Jonah turned. Cassie, look. In the shallows stood the wishboats, dozens of them, their candles still burning even though days had passed. They floated in a slow circle, light reflecting off the fog. And there, standing among them, were the missing campers. Their eyes were blank, their clothes dripping. They smiled faintly, as if happy to be home. Don't go closer, Jonah whispered. But Cassie took a step. The children raised their hands, beckoning. The air turned cold. She heard the humming again, the same soft tune she'd heard that night in the woods. Cassie, Jonah's voice cracked. We need to go. She turned to him and saw that his flashlight was flickering. Behind him, another shape emerged from the trees. It looked like Jonah. No, not him exactly. Something wearing his face. By morning, the fog was gone. The lake was still. The campers packed their things. The buses arrived on schedule. The counselors lined up for the group photo, the last one ever taken at Camp Maplewood. In the picture, everyone's smiling, but if you look closely, in the reflection of the lake behind them, there are more figures than there should be. And in the next week's newspaper, under a small headline that read, "Summer Camp Closes Early Due to Low Enrollment," there was a photo of the same lake, empty except for one candle still burning, drifting alone in the center. Thank you for spending some time here at Whispering Cabins, where the light is low and the stories linger. If you enjoyed tonight's tale, don't forget to subscribe or share with someone who loves a gentle chill before bed. Until next time, sleep well, if the night lets you.